you know, branded and set up properly and working on our technology and everything at the same time. But Kevo, you back, brother. Go ahead, man. We got you set now.
Yo, man, I didn't realize my computer was about to die.
We don't need you to crash. We need you to talk. We need you to go ahead, brother. And I was, like I said before, I was just chiming in on talk about how your career started and some of the earlier things that motivated you.
Man, so my art career started, as most people know who know me. For those of you who don't know, I used to sell dope when I was younger. And by dope, I mean cocaine. And I was going to get a tattoo by this dude named Slim, my homeboy. And Slim was like, hey, bro, you know, I know you want to do this. I know you want to slang. Say, bro, but every time you come get a tattoo, he said, man, you just draw it so good, bro. Like I can't really draw like you, man. Like, you might want to pick up tattooing. So I was probably 19 at the time when I actually started tattooing. I was fresh out of jail. I had actually just got shot. And I always made my money in the streets, just a little bit here and there. And when I got into the powder game, that was when, you know, it was all about your car.
Right.
So since I sold coke, I had the white BMW, I had Lamborghini Doors, and I had white rims. And my homeboy, he had more cars. He had better cars than me, but mine was just more like on the coke side. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because that's how I got in the game. And then after that, I started at coke and crack, but then we eventually got to pills and weed and all that. But nothing to be proud of, to be honest, because we lost everything in the midst of robberies and setups and it's just trials and tribulations of a hustler and in the streets on the cool. So once I slowed down on that and I started getting them tattoos, I used to just get tattoos. Man, he told me to go buy a kit. So funny thing is, I remember one of the times I had fell off a little bit. I'm kind of backtracking right now.
Yeah, you good. Go ahead.
This is before, actually, you know what? First I was just selling crack. When I hit, I had got robbed for some guns and some dope. And we had lost like almost, man, we took a big L. So I was like, man, let me go try to get me a job or something. And man, as soon as I got my first paycheck, I went and bought some more powder. You know what I'm saying? Because I know if I can just cook this up, I'm gonna make some money.
Right.
So I quit that, and that's when he was like, man, you need to be doing tattoos. And I started tattooing, and that turned into like, based on my popularity as far as pills and weed, because I didn't really deal with a lot of our people. We really ain't into cocaine. It was really like Hispanics I knew and white people I knew. And you know, some black people smoked crack when I was younger, but it ain't as big as a deal as it is right now. Like back then, it was a real big deal.
Right.
So a little bit after that, man, I started tatting, and I was already popular in the hood for beating people up, and I was just popular, like you know, just on some thug stuff, you know, which is crazy because I wasn't raised by my parents, and my father, him and I recently got into it over that, and he kind of made it look like I was lying on him because he wasn't really there in my life.
Right.
And to the extent that he even calls me like, you know, he was like, man, I'm kind of glad because you're bearing my name and you got all this on your record. Kind of like I'm a bad person, which I'm not.
Right.
But his get back at me was, you know, nobody should have his name anyways if they got all this aggravated robbery on their record and gun charges and stuff. He kind of give you an idea of how my background was.
Right.
But I always been good people. I always been a good person. I always show love to everybody. But that's how my art career actually started, in the hood, in the streets, doing what street people do.
Right. And then so you take it there not only just for the tattooing, just the ability to be creative in the form of being an artist. And the amazing part about individuals that I have been fortunate enough to be around that are creative, whether it be individuals that are creative through music. They can write music and sing music, play music, or individuals that are funny, or
Yeah, yeah,
individuals that have the ability to be able to draw,
yeah.
which is a huge, it's a huge ability to be able to do that. So, and then I find it interesting because normally those people, a lot of times you'll see, a lot of times they've been through a struggle and they utilize that component of their life, that creativity,
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Everybody goes through some type of struggle, though.
Right,
Like it ain't just. I don't want to act like it's just creatives. To be honest with you, man, the that's how I kind of determine success based on what you've been through.
right,
Not really the creative side of me. A lot of that stems from the struggle, the trauma part of that stems from in terms of creativity of what I create
right.
or my hustle.
Gotcha.
My trauma, my childhood, like the things that happened to me don't really. That, I'm creative without that. Is what I'm trying to say.
Gotcha.
Like
Gotcha.
for
Gotcha.
example, I remember being younger, and I'm not thinking about this fucking trauma, bro. I'm not thinking
Yeah.
like, oh man, I don't have no parents. I'm not depressed like that when I'm younger. That's you adapt. That's a normal day in the hood, damn near.
Right. Right.
Especially with no father around.
Right.
But I remember playing with the settings on the TV.
Right.
I remember when I do this to the brightness, what happens? When I do this to the contrast, what happens? When I do this to the saturation, what happens?
Right.
I would just do stuff like that all the time. Like I've
Right.
always been like a creative person. I don't think that has, what I create does because it comes if it's coming from that heart or that
From a
place,
space.
my
Yeah.
heart gonna be in it,
Right. Right.
But that's not the only thing I create. Is stuff based on something I've been through.
Right,
That's what
and you make a good point because a lot of people who are creative are creative in multiple ways, which is the point that you make. Which is,
yeah,
for example, like a lot of my buddies that are barbers can also draw.
yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah,
also
yeah,
artists,
yeah,
so they can draw or they can design or that sort of thing. So,
Mhm.
so
You just can't be scared to tap into it. That's what you got to do.
yeah. That's the ability to be able to tap into it. So
Mhm.
so as you so tell me next steps then as you migrate through, definitely finding something that you enjoy doing, you have a passion for, and you're good at, and then how did that evolve, that process?
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I still was in the streets, even though I was tattooing at first. Until I had another until I got in another shootout. The
Mm,
last shootout that I got in, um, my homeboy told me he stayed across the way from me. His name Mike. Shout out to Mike Jack. He probably watched this. He said because it was in the middle of the night, so I heard somebody kicking the door, and I was actually reading 48 Laws of Power, which is crazy. I was reading 48 Laws of Power, and the dude kicked the door, and boom, boom. I heard kicking. I already know what's up. Like it don't. I'm not like had I been a rookie, I probably wouldn't be here right now. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So I just grabbed my gun, cocked it, and I said, I'm gonna wait to that last kick. That last one, you're gonna hear the kick and you're gonna hear it hit the door because I used to kick people doors in, so I know what happened. So I'm waiting for that moment. As soon as I heard that, that second hit, I say, okay, he got maybe a second or two before he hit this corner. As soon as he hit the corner, I start shooting. Boom, 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 boom. He shot back like 3 times and ran down the stairs. Now, nothing happened to nobody, but I really don't want to get into what happens next because it's some personal stuff between me and my homeboy. Fell out real bad over it because I thought he set me up. I'm not gonna lie. I'll just leave it at that. But
Right.
I later apologized to him for feeling that way.
Right.
But so the house full of smoke. Police come, they see y'all. It's all shot. They say, hey, man, you might want to. Police officer told me. He said, hey, you might want to stop whatever you're doing, man, because whoever kicked in this door, they ain't shoot nowhere else. They came straight right here. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, they was looking at your
they
spot.
looking for you, whoever it
Yeah.
is. And
Yeah.
I never had I wasn't beefing with nobody or nothing, but you never know. I probably done hit somebody girl or made more money. Somebody was probably jealous. You never know,
Right.
So, or like I said, like I thought back then, it could have been set up. But so man, after that moment, man, I said, man, I'm gonna clean my stuff up. We're gonna go legit. And I told my connect, I'm gonna pay him whatever I owe him. Let me know. And the rest of my, I wanted all my money clean. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I was like, let me make my money off tats. Because I felt like it was cursed in a little bit. Like I kind of felt like my money was cursed. So I was like, let me make my money just doing tats. And I'm just not going to, I used to read a lot, but I still read a lot. I read a book almost every week, bro. Like quiet as kept, I probably read a new book. I'm not trying to brag, bro, but
it's hard. Real though, bro.
It's hard for me to not start a book. Like I'm like, whether if it's a short book, it's getting read in one week. But if it's long, 2-3 weeks, maybe a month. But I'm reading every week, every day, every other day, something like that.
You got a thirst for knowledge.
Definitely. So after I get an apartment, the girl I was dating, we get an apartment. I tell her I'm just gonna be tatting. So I just made all my money on tattoos, and I remember reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I was like, man, I'm gonna save all of my money, and I'm gonna buy my asset. And I don't know what it's gonna be, but that's what I'm gonna do. So I saved. I wasn't getting haircuts. I wasn't buying clothes. I stopped buying shoes, jewelry, because I used to have some nice cars, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped buying all that shit, and I just was like, man, I'm gonna treat the tattoo game like the coke game. I'm just gonna buy supplies, and I'm gonna buy art books. So this is a very big deal. I bought a lot of art books, bro, and I was reading a lot about art. I read so much shit about art that by the time I went to school, bro, I told my homeboy, this is when I had an epiphany. I went to college later on in my life, not when I was younger. I went to college, I was like 26 probably. Me and my homeboy, he was trying to figure out what class to do. It was an art history class. I said, bro, we artists, we already know that shit. Just take it. He was scared that he gonna fail. He said, nah, Kevo, you already know that shit. And it hit me like, damn. I'm thinking everybody on the same wavelength. I'm thinking everybody, and it really hit me then that like all of that shit paid off, because I said that to him genuinely, like, my nigga, you stressing over an art history class, bro? Like we already know this shit. Right. But it was like, nah, you know that,
Right. So then, you build a successful business, and now, fast forward, you getting ready to launch your play. Talk about the play and what people can expect.
The play is amazing, man. The script, it's so much momentum behind. We're actually in a rehearsal. I stepped outside of rehearsal right now to do this interview. They're gonna walk out any minute and probably tell me goodbye because rehearsal ends in 10 minutes. But the play is amazing, bro. And what I love about it is nobody else could have wrote it. Like, I really feel that way. So I took a lot of issues that African Americans dealt with from the 1940s to 2020. And so think about a modern day issues, but I placed the issues in 1965. Right after the Jim Crow laws passed. And that's very important. That's some important subtext, but I'll get to that when we get to that. So I placed this fictional family in 1965 to deal with all of these issues. And it kind of shows people the humanity, the survival of African Americans, and it kind of educates them about our history a little bit. And I felt like, honestly, if I would have did it, my reason for doing it in 1965, if I would have did it before, I feel like it would have been too cliche, because Jim Crow laws are so strict and people don't really understand them, that I don't think it would have hit home what I'm really trying to deliver. Because the title of the play is "What Do We Do Now?" And that's really my point. It's like a big question. What do Black people do? I've been studying African American history, bro, since, the first book I read was Elijah Muhammad's Message to a Black Man. That set me off trying to learn about as much as I can about African culture, because when I was younger, my dad changed my name, and I didn't even know him like that. Like, I met him once, and he changed my name randomly. Like, I just popped up with a new name. And when he Muslim and he Nigerian, so when I read that name, it made me start trying to learn about what the Muslims was doing. So, bro, the play is all culture, all culture, bro. Like all of our ups, downs, and I'm so big on progression and African art and what we can really do and the real stuff, bro. Not that fake, tangible. A lot of woke stuff is bullshit, bro.
Right.
And I'm so big on real practical solutions that I had to write this play, man.
Right. And then so the play, because I noticed out and just looking around, do you have like a book out behind it, or is there somebody can
So
purchase?
the book is a condensed version of the play.
Gotcha.
So what happened was,
Gotcha.
I told this story a few times. People was calling me because Kyrie Irving and Kanye West got into it with the Jews, and people was calling me asking me what I think because they know I'm knowledgeable about African history. They was like, "Are we Jews? What does this mean?" Calling me, and I'm like, "Man, dang, people really don't know our relationship with Jews." So I was like, I'm gonna write a play, like because I was like, I can't write a movie. When I'm a creative, so I know how the art. Sometimes I don't want to say I just know, but sometimes I can feel what the art is telling me to do. I don't want to paint this. I don't want to. I want to entertain our people and educate our people at the same time. So what I want to say, I don't want to paint it. I don't want to draw it. I don't want to make a movie. I say, man, a play. This will be a good play. Just to throw it out, just to kind of throw it out there. A lot of stuff that happened to us, so we can kind of get an idea. And writing from that energy turned into this play, and it's the first time I've ever put something on Amazon and it immediately got reviews. I was like, dang, I got 5 reviews. So I looked at my reviews. I said, who reviewing this? And I looked it up. I said, oh, it's this new thing called Kindle Unlimited, where people can read your book for free as long as they got Kindle Unlimited. So a couple days later, I got 11 reviews. Well, no, a week or two later. So I told my homeboy, Draper, the best filmmaker I think in the world that I've ever met, and the best filmmaker I've met. And he said, man, just do it. And that's how me and him rock. We gonna do it. So I said, oh, man, let me find a theater, because I'm first table read. One of the actors start crying. She said, this is good. I said, oh, man, I got something. I got something for this.
So look, though, listen, because you got me so intrigued because, in advance, and we did this pretty rapid fire because, because I, quite honestly, I had taken a little hiatus from my podcast. As I mentioned earlier, we working on some rebranding, me and my business partner, Brian Callahan. In addition, I've been coaching my daughter's 10 and under girls basketball team. So that was
my daughter here too. She around at the rehearsal. My daughter here with me.
Yes, sir. So I did as much as I could as far as research, but prior to you coming on, and one of the things that I know, I live here in Atlanta, and Atlanta is a hotbed for that type of thing, especially, African American playwrights or people that are, coming up with creative ventures, and people come out and support. So I love to see it eventually come here to Atlanta.
It'll be there for sure.
And I know, and so talk about how can people that want to come see it in Houston, because I know it's going to be on April 10th, but talk about how they can get with you and get tickets or whatever to come see it.
The tickets on my website, artbykevo.com. Okay. There's no physical tickets. You have to buy it online. And I don't really waste my time trying to. The tickets are selling. I feel like they're selling themselves, but I don't waste my time trying to convince people, because if they come, they're going to come. Like, I've got a few messages that say, oh, man, I want to pull up, but this, I don't care. Like, you either going to buy the tickets or you're not. The very first adaptation. This is the first time it's ever going to be seen. That's special to me.
Right.
If you want to come, you're going to come. So no I post pictures every day on my Instagram, Kevo Arts. I post it on my Twitter. My Twitter is Kevo the Artist. I post almost every day. So
hey, share it with me though when you get time. Tag me if you do anything, and I know you have. If you're doing anything, just tag me.
Yeah,
in
but
it.
let me say
So,
this. Let me say this, and I know everybody's not gonna see all your posts. I know this.
right,
I got common sense, you know. So I posted on my story as well, and I direct messages to people.
right,
So if they don't see
good,
it, they just don't see it. But
right.
the odds of not seeing it is
It's
gonna be.
rare.
I'm gonna make it
It's
hard.
rare.
You
You
know, I'm
on
gonna make
any
it
of
hard.
the
You know, I'm gonna make it hard because I really ain't talking about nothing else.
you on any of the vehicles I'm on, you have seen it in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, like you right. Now you choose to do it. That's only up to you. But I put it out there. So yeah, that's real. Yeah. Yeah, man. So they can get it off the web. They can get it off your website,
Yes,
and
sir.
um and
Artbykevo.com.
absolutely. So talk about this though, because I know you wrote several books. How if people want to get some of your work, how can they get to your work?
They can search my name in terms of books on Amazon, and
Okay.
it's kind of crazy because I'm not like I'm not that I'm not trying to sell books and stuff, but I really don't even be thinking about that. You know, that's
Right.
probably why I
Right.
was so surprised when What Do We Do Not kept getting all those reviews because I just posted and move on with my next project.
Right.
But my website has all my information. It's
Right.
artbykevo.com. It has everything I'm selling on there. Anything anybody wanted. Um, I'm really big on supporting. I'm. You know how people be like, "Oh man, support black business." I support people who not bullshit. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? I don't care what color you are,
Right.
but in terms of our people, I'm real big on. I'm not supporting nobody who full of shit, who a bullshit person. We gotta weed them people out. So I appreciate the support I get because I know I'm not a bullshit and I know I'm serious about my art and I know I'm not like I'm just a genuine person really taking this art to another level and being a black man, especially in Houston, being such a positive role model and mentor to so many people. I appreciate it a lot more because I feel like, man, bro, one of the things I actually like is when people, mother or father, be sending their kids to me to get a tattoo because they be like, man, I know you in good hands if you go to him. In terms of like,
They trust. They trust. You. Have to trust.
yeah, not even about the art though. Just like, man, I done had some people, mama, man, tell me about their kids' personal life, some daddies. Not just one time, bro. I'm talking about literally 90% of the people, bro, be like, oh man, well, I want you to talk to them about this though, because you know what I'm saying?
To see you being the brilliant person you are, you done save me a little time because one of my closing questions to you, and I mentioned this to you in our startup,
Yeah.
was, I'm a big proponent of mentorship.
Yeah.
I do think in many ways it take a village, and your village it may not even be a square. It might not be a circle, might not be a square, it might be an octagon. It might be just
Mhm.
one or two people in that space with you at a given space and time.
Yeah.
But talk about the importance you feel of mentorship. Take
It's
each one,
big.
teach one, taking a moment to, and it may just be a moment, but
Nah,
talk about
man,
that.
it's big. It's big because you gotta. I'm a big historian, man. That would be. Let's look at a person like a Tupac Shakur. What makes him so valuable to hip hop culture is he's unique and special. He could rap about anything. He can get deep. He could talk about beef. He could talk about love. And at the core of his music was that black love, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't get that if his mom not a Black Panther, bro.
Mm-hmm.
We don't. That doesn't happen. You know, like that's the slightest difference between him and Big.
Mm-hmm.
You know, him and another rapper. It's a very. They're all different in their many ways, but we don't get nothing like that if his mom.
Mm-hmm.
So little things like the reflection and the representation of influence is a big deal, man. One of my big homies owns a daycare, right? And that makes me feel like anything possible. I'm
Yeah.
from the hood and I'm teaching in college.
Yes.
I'm a college professor
Yeah.
with a bunch of misdemeanors. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Luckily, blessed to have no felonies, but a bunch, bro. That's a man. So when people see some of my students, man, that's a big deal. I know it is because I zoomed through college. I ain't never met nobody like me. So I know it's big when I see people like me when I was younger, they inspired me. I would have never, I doubt I would have changed my ways had I not had positive influences around me.
Yeah.
That big homie that got the daycare, if I wouldn't have had him, bro, sometimes your mama ain't the one that can tell you, hey man, you need to stop selling this dope. Right. Sometimes it need to be big homie.
Right. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And that's big though. And for folks who have that spirit influence and use it in a positive way, because, you know, I was an athlete coming up, and many times, you know, a lot to me, people that show themselves a real true friend is individuals that can step out and speak out against something that they feel is not right. If you got a bunch of yes men around you, and every time they saying, "Oh man, you all right? You know, you doing this, you doing that, and the third, you good." To me, that's not somebody you need around. You need somebody that say, "Hey man, you know, respectfully, maybe you ought to look at it a different way." You know, you know what I'm saying? And to balance out, to have that, it could be a spouse or it could be a friend or whoever, but to have that person that can really, really be honest with you and be a check and balance against yourself.
Yeah. So, and sometimes the person who's been saying it or said it a different way might not have enough credibility. So you need a few of them good people around you, because one of them gonna be credible. Like one of them gonna hit you in a different way.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's a great point too. That's a great point. Man, I'm just gonna tell you in the middle of practice, I'm gonna let you go tonight, but we gotta do this. We gotta get together again, man. This
for sure.
I appreciate you taking time out your busy schedule and coming on and spending some time in. And I appreciate it, man. It's been very enlightening and it's been energetic, and you know, we locked in like my brother always kid. He say, we back in the day, you should have never met me. You know what I'm saying? Like, we done met, we found now, so we gonna stay locked in, man. And like I said,
all love, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. I'm glad.
Get off your hiatus, though, man. The people need you, man. Get off your hiatus.
I'm off now. You got me off the couch, man. So you got me got me back in the game. So I'm back in now. So yeah, but look, all the best on the upcoming play. Like I said, I'm gonna be locked in with you, sharing information, and can't wait to get my chance to view it. And I wish you all the best, brother, in all your endeavors, man. Take good care, man, and stay in touch with me, man. And we gonna do this again.
For sure. Shout out to Miss Melinda for linking us up.
Oh man, definitely. Shout out to Melinda, fam. I appreciate her for doing that. That was awesome, man. And I'm always one to network.
She's a lead role. She's one of the lead characters in my play.
That's right. See how things work, man. Hey, God works in mysterious ways. But I'm always one to take on a networking opportunity when people call me for whatever reason, say you need to meet this person. And I'm going to meet that person because to me, God put him in my life to say, okay, now Kevo, now I wouldn't know nothing about Kevo. I ain't never heard of you until she reached out. Now I got a whole nother lane to look down, you know. So I'm appreciative to her for that, and I'm appreciative of you for coming on, man. And then ending up tonight, I say to everybody, I appreciate you guys for hanging on with me tonight, and I'll tell you guys in closing, follow your first mind to avoid your second mistake. Love everybody, man. Be blessed. And appreciate you, Kevo.
All right, for sure.
Okay, take good care, bro.